Okay, so it's 11:39 p.m. on Friday, February 9th, 2024. This, of course, is the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Um, man, I'm I'm kind of pensive today, just given a question that was asked recently on X. And I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, hey, Steven, what do you really think about Stronghold when you compare Stronghold to like other publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies? And yeah, I understand that feeling, right? Where it's like, hey, you look at the stock price performance, even the operational performance, right? Sometimes of other publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies, and you compare that to Stronghold Digital Mining's stock performance and operational performance. And I think when you get kind of into that type of comparison and looking at especially right how other companies' stock prices have performed, yeah, man, it can be a bit of a downer to put it mildly, right? I don't really like comparison because even if Stronghold Digital Mining were doing phenomenally well, which arguably in many ways we are doing pretty darn well, there's always going to be some other company or some other entity that might be doing better, right? Or that we perceive they're doing better. And it kind of like robs us of the joy of really appreciating like what we've got. I don't have a crystal ball, right? I don't think any of us really do. Nobody can really predict the future of this company. What I do know with, I think, a certain sense of certainty is that there are a number of people at Stronghold Digital Mining who genuinely care about this company, about its future, and about the potential that exists for this company to truly, fully live into its full potential. And, at the end of the day, though, right, like for the overwhelming majority of us, it's kind of like, hey, man, that sounds great, but what the hell's going on with the stock price? We need the stock price to appreciate in value. The overwhelming majority of shareholders, understandably, only ultimately care about the stock price. You could have a publicly traded Bitcoin mining company that has phenomenal operational results, but if the stock price doesn't go anywhere, nobody's going to really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you could have an awesome business plan. You can win a business plan competition. You can execute on a business plan, be it that one or some other business plan, have phenomenal operational results. But if the stock price doesn't really do anything, most shareholders are not going to really be too enthusiastic about that. So Stronghold Digital Mining has its work cut out for it because at the end of the day, look, it's kind of like, hey, we got to try to execute operationally, which I think we're doing on a variety of different fronts. I hear, commentators will say, well, the reason why the stock price doesn't, has had some trouble is because the company has debt and because, the company has high costs. Never mind the fact that the company has dramatically deleveraged the business, right? There's still this perception, hey, there's a lot of debt out there. The alternative might be to have simply gone the route of saying, hey, you know what, forget debt. We're just going to equitize all the debt. We'll just flood the market with shares of Stronghold Digital Mining. We're going to adopt a HODL strategy whereby we're not going to sell any Bitcoin. Every single Bitcoin we generate, we're going to keep. We're going to simply just keep selling shares into the market to fund operations and to fund an ever increasingly large hash rate. And, the market, right up until this point, has rewarded that approach. I don't think anyone can argue with that, right? Even Greg, right, our CEO mentioned in a recent podcast that the market seems to truly favor asset light operations, right? And just the observations that I've made as well. I'm sure you've seen this as well, right? Hey, look, there are companies out there that have really done very, very well, pursuing that model. And I think that's that. And I'm genuinely happy for those companies, and I'm happy for those, who are invested in those names. I really am. For Stronghold Digital Mining to win, we kind of have to move away from this idea that like another Bitcoin mining company has to lose. I think that type of thinking is very limiting, and it's just not consistent with reality. We can do extremely well in this forthcoming bull market, to the extent a bull market in the price of Bitcoin materializes, which is not, by the way, reflected on our homemade dashboard. I see that Bitcoin, I have to check some of the source code. It seems to be stuck at like $45,000 a coin. And we know at this point that it's closer to like $48,000 a coin. So I'm in the process of looking into that. But be that as it may, if the bull market, the true bull market, the one that takes us back to like $70,000 a coin, the one that takes us to $100,000 a coin, the one that maybe even gets us as high as $150,000 a coin and beyond, if that bull market is to come, to the extent Stronghold Digital Mining can still be in the game, we're going to do well. We're going to prosper. But it's really all contingent on what happens after the halving. It's a big deal. As Greg mentioned in the same podcast I referenced a moment ago, and I'm paraphrasing his prediction based on the fact that we're a, sub-scale operation for being a publicly traded company in terms of our exahash and whatnot. His prediction, I'm paraphrasing, is that we're either going to merge with others, acquire others, or potentially be acquired ourselves. I think Stronghold Digital Mining's in play. Now it's a matter of figuring out what the next steps are. This has been a hell of a journey, to say the least. And the story is not over yet. So I'm going to remain positive. I'm going to try to be great, get this broadcast out before midnight, and we'll see each other again next week.